Hello, and welcome to my spoken word channel. My name is Stephen Lackey, but like any other label, that name is simply a collection of letters that make sounds to convey meaning, a meaning which may have varying connotations for those who voice and or hear it. The spoken word is much the same, its effect ranging from dissonance to resonance, apathy to revulsion, sometimes even to the same person over time. I'll be reading some of my own work today, offering analysis of its form and content. If you find it appealing, heartening, or evocative, or even not worth remembering, please consider the aforementioned variability of response. Words, much the same as attitudes, friendships, and even the air we breathe, may teach us, transform us, or pass uninspiringly in this moment, but the next is yet to be defined. Herein are my copyrighted works, all rights reserved, but please, forget the name and remember the message. Also, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today's piece is called Latent Gravity. Lost, alone, and harried, insidious powerlessness pervades pieces rested variably as to portend fracturing. Presumed separations and escarpments to traverse, each latent gravity undeniable, clumsily accost stasis. Tremulous confrontations at each unsure footing's moment, teetering doubt's precipice amidst strength and intent begging their unmasking, crying out in unpolished brilliance to pierce the darkness, to perturb the perception that these moments are fractures and not facets awaiting their unabashed luster, but for the willingness of attendant buffing softly intrusive touch. A release. Unnecessary permission. Catalyzing fear's ablation. This is a roughly geometric shape poem consisting of 6 stanzas, averaging 25 characters in width, each stanza having 5 lines, 2 long, 1 short, 2 long. The summary of the piece is in the shorter lines of the collective stanzas, pervades each moment, brilliance awaiting a release. Stanzaic presentation seems at odds with punctuation here and may confuse the rhythm a bit, as this piece has the feel of stream of consciousness. Therefore, it may be more easily read aloud when the phrases and or sentences are presented in paragraph form. As to the theme of latent gravity, we are drawn in so many directions by accepted responsibilities, demands placed upon us, points of specific interest, and outside distractions that we may feel as though we're being pulled apart, perhaps to the point of fracturing. Directly attending to each of these facets feels nigh impossible at times, and OCD function can just as often cause hypervigilance as paralyzing stasis, the latter addressed here. As by directionality they may seem separate, these are not, in fact, fractures, but the facets of us that stand as possibilities, were they to be perceived as such, or in some sense allowed and or encouraged toward focus, as facets of a gem that cannot shine without polish. Therapeutic intervention can help in the form of a good friend who understands, a professional counselor's confidence and or medication, yet none of these are specifically necessary, as I believe that we are all capable, by varying degrees, of unaided focus. The idea of permission is important here because people might say they want advice but not take it, and we may sometimes give unsolicited advice that is necessary to the disdain of the receiver. But there is no specific implied permission for offering care, hey buddy, can I help you with that, for example. Again, all of this is possible without external aid, which itself hints at an autoerotic connotation, another facet of many personalities, and an overarching governance of such persons' facets. The terms that may allude to this, polish, buffing, touch, release, are all things that can be done by oneself, but add a note of shining explosive brilliance, as it were, when aided. Sexuality can be a momentary distraction from depression, but can also, because of the hormones it releases, help a person focus, not unlike a desired, perhaps addictive stimulant, caffeine, nicotine, cocaine, depending on the partner. All of this, of course, a nod to the commonality of self-soothing behaviors which may be less readily observable in the neurotypical, but more stereotypically obvious and or intrusive in neurodivergence. Thank you for joining me today. I hope it has been some mix of enlightening, entertaining, and thought-provoking, and if not, well, perhaps another time. You could have spent it any number of ways, but I sincerely appreciate that you've chosen to spend this time listening to phrases I have turned. I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. Drop a comment below regarding what your own or someone else's creative writing and or spoken word has meant to you. Also, subscribe to my channel if you like. I'm not sure how often I'll be posting, but if you click the notification bell, you'll be among the first to know when I do. Please also consider this. It is quite a good thing to flex one's imagination with possibilities and even improbabilities. It is perfectly fine to express feelings directly or abstractly, in rigid poetical style or untethered prose, no matter the nature of those feelings. And the more often discussed, the greater power derived from such self-advocacy. After all, every act of creation was at one point a what-if, and any aspiration voiced is, in a sense, a goal already achieved. One must merely take the steps. Start today. Embody the strength. Find a voice. Be heard.